You found your way to the lost gold. We're chasing a trail that has long gone cold. To tell the stories that must be told. Michael's jokes light up the night. Brady's eyes catch every sight. MaryLynn connects with other realms. Together they unveil the tales.
We're live.
So caw.
I guess that's how we're doing it now. Welcome everybody to another edition of Losco Podcast. It has been a hot minute. We took a bit of a hiatus for a couple weeks because stuff happens, and now we're back. And I guess we can get into that. But in the meantime, we have an awesome guest for you tonight, Miss DeEtte Ranae.
Welcome to the Bair. Or Bair.
Bair, as we were discussing. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Doing good.
I love you.
Thumbs up.
Mike made it. No road rash on MaryLynn. Katie made it. This is awesome.
Yes, we're all good. And hello, everybody in the chat. Hello, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Yep.
Kelly.
Do you want to highlight Miss DeEtte's phenomenalness?
I can. I'm a little discombobulated because I had to change locations last minute. So, you know what?
That's true.
I'm going to let DeEtte speak to her own awesomeness.
Yes.
How about that? Because I probably wouldn't do her justice anyway. So, Bair.
Yeah, Bair. I'm like, loving everyone's titles. I didn't give myself a title. Oh my God, I so suck. Okay. Who is it? Like a who am I? I don't like talking about myself. So I'm a psychic and medium, teacher of psychic mediumship development. For a while there, I kind of showed up everywhere, but was nobody, if that makes sense. People would tell me they would be listening to the old like paranormal show and they would hear my voice, which was kind of cool. And I keep telling people I'm the least paranormal person in the paranormal because I believe dead people are awake at noon and ready to talk. And I don't have to be there at 2 a.m. So
That's fair.
I love doing investigations in my pajamas at noon, not at 2 a.m. That's me, so that's, I got a little bit of a radio show going, nothing major. And yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't die always at night, right?
No, we don't. I don't plan on doing that to anybody. I was a nurse for 21 years. That was the worst time to die.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you spend your whole life living, for the daytime hours and sleeping at night. So it would be like, I wouldn't want to do the graveyard shift if I were dead,
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I would want to die again.
You want to get me on a meter? Show up at noon. Come for brunch.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is an interesting question, though, DeEtte. In your experience as a nurse for all those years, did you find that a lot of people did pass away at nighttime or in the middle of the night?
Well, I think it depends on who you were, honestly. Okay. Every nurse would probably tell you a different time that people would die. In the beginning of my career, it seemed to be like they waited for me to show up. Because they would hold. I had one guy hold on for like 11 days until it was, my shift and decided to go. I don't know because of, if it was because I held a hand, I don't know. And then honestly, towards the end of my career, because they would pick whenever, but towards the end of my career, the last couple of years when people found out I was a medium, that one little secret I wasn't willing to come out of the closet for, they would have a patient that was passing away, and and there was a lot of geriatric care at that point. They'd say, "Hey, will you just come sit with them?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll come over there." And I would hold a hand and I would do a small reading what somebody else would call a reading. But honestly, I was just telling them, "Hey, I see what you see, and it's okay." And, I can't tell you how many hands I held where, they took their last breath, and then I'm standing there looking at them at a doorway, and they're much younger than what they were just in this body.
Mm.
And it's so incredible, and that's for, people that, the families weren't there, maybe were not part of their lives very much. So for me, it was really whatever time of the day they felt like going.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious because I know it sounds really macabre, but I like to ask weird questions like that because when my father passed away, he passed away at 4:44 in the morning of all times.
Oh, great.
Wow.
And so now the number 44, every time I see the number 44, I know, or I see 444, I always feel like it's my father who's around me. And I just found it interesting that he died at that time, which is really early morning. And it just kind of made me wonder. I always like to talk to people who have had loved ones pass, or nurses who have experienced that and what their
Hey, John,
experience is.
I've always thought of it like we're so used to like death being at night because when we sleep, it's kind of like a free trial of death, but then like the subscription ends and you have to pay for it. So you come back, and you go, that sounds expensive. So you're like, I'll just do it. I'll do it later. But so maybe that's why like we always think, death equates to night maybe is because that's just where we feel the most comfortable because it's where we don't pay attention.
Well, maybe, in all actuality, death is just going to sleep. So it makes sense also. I mean, people, that's the biggest question I probably
That's
get.
when you buy the free trial. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because that's probably the biggest question I ever get is, because people are afraid of death. And I'm like, it's as easy as falling asleep because most people go unresponsive. Most people don't die in freakish accidents and all this other stuff. There's a process to it.
Ironically,
it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Ironically, I made a post literally just 30 minutes ago, and I had said on there that life is not a game of chance; it's a game of fear, and it's whether you have to choose whether or not you overcome it or it overcomes you. Right. And so that's why I try to tell, especially with Pair with the Normal, it's about trying to show you don't be afraid of the afterlife.
Yeah.
Even though you may not know what it is, you have to look at that as a beautiful thing versus a scary thing. Not everything is doom and gloom, Zach Baggins and Mordor and the Nazgul. You know what I mean? There's so much more to it. Not everything is like you see on YouTube.
No, and everybody's personality is so vastly different.
Yeah.
They are. I cannot tell you, Mike, how many readings I've done where it is a car accident or it's an accident. And it's a high adrenaline type accident, So, and their first words to me after, they'll tell me I flew out of my body. Okay. I'm glad you didn't feel it. And then they stand up and they look over and I'm sorry if I swear, but shit, can't get back into that now. They will make a joke and I'm looking at them like, and I'm going to the loved ones. They had quite the personality, didn't they? Oh my God, if they weren't joking about this, this is what they said. And they're like, that's their personality. And it's amazing how they will bring it in. Once that fear is gone, it's really beautiful. It's so dynamically amazing.
I like to say that comedy is born through tragedy. It's just the other side of the pendulum. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they go hand in hand. And when I had my doodle hopper, there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have no memory. I just ceased to exist.
Yeah.
And so it was a very strange thing to just snap back into your body and then not realize that time had passed or why you were there or what was going on. It was very strange. So that's why I'm like, man, you have to, and for a couple of months, it was tough. You start to question your sanity or why you're here, your broken body, but eventually you have to choose to either overcome it or let it overcome you. So
110%.
yeah. And with that, I've got my crown.
Look what I did.
Woo! There,
Oh, I
got a
love
little-
that.
nice. Got a little
Steve.
Steve on it.
If you look in your little packet, you have the little Steves.
I love that.
My packet.
The one that I gave you with the stickers.
Oh yeah.
You have some.
I'll put that on there. That's
Yep.
awesome. Steve's just another personality that I've created.
What you
Yeah.
need a few.
Yeah.
Alien Steve.
Yeah. Are
Yeah.
you taking him to any other events, or is he?
My goal was to take him to. I might take him to Gettysburg because I think there's
Okay.
gonna be a lot of people there, so he might do really good in Gettysburg.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he's strictly he really likes booze on the battleship. That's his favorite thing. So
He needs
Okay.
to bring his toaster.
he always brings his toaster.
Do
He
Yeah.
you
is
have
an
one
alien
handy
with a
where you can
mustache who
show it?
always carries a toaster.
Do you have one handy where you can show it?
Not with the not with the stickers on.
Here, let me go
Wait,
get
hold
mine.
on. Do I have
Be
one
right
in the
back.
sticker?
Love it.
I'll
Oh,
I can
hold
get
on. Let me
mine.
check.
Nope.
I can never, I'll never be able to get to Gettysburg, but I want to do booze in the battleship so badly next year.
Oh well, I might be doing it next year.
We'll
So
be doing it next year.
yeah. What's that?
She'll be doing it next year.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I gotta
Yes.
get some things lined up. All right. What? Oh, you got a green one?
Yeah, Steve
Oh,
made a
very cool.
toaster and he was selling them.
Oh, very awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is the toaster Ultra Pro GT Mini. So
Nice.
it's just it's very slim lined, but it can hold 2 pieces of toast or a bagel, right?
I
Or a
love-
giant pancake.
There you go. Can't
Very
complain.
nice.
Have you
Look-
used it yet, Mike? Have you used it yet, or?
No, with this is a collector's item. You
I mean,
Okay.
it's hot. You could put it like right next to your chair. You like slide it right in.
You could.
Yeah.
I carried
My
mine in a
husband has
satchel,
actually
so
he
it was
used
mobile.
ours.
What's that?
So Pat used ours, so he really
Yes.
likes it.
Okay, so it actually toasts. It actually
It
works.
does. It does a
It
great
really
job.
does, yes.
All right, that's good. Not just an accessory, folks.
Right.
Actual
Okay.
toaster. Anyway,
So here's a question for you. I discovered there was a quantum physics test using they used the CERN collider, and they created a vacuum, and they basically the goal was to see what would happen if you were to if there was nothing there and you basically just increase the pressure or increase the vacuum, the just changed the dynamics in this collider. And it actually, for the first time ever, it created energy out of nothing. Right? So I bring that up because we always talk about, like we go as spirits and as beings, as people, right? That energy is just transferable, right? Like energy never comes and it never goes, right? It's always constant. But that made me think, if you were able to create energy from nothing, literally nothing to energy, does that mean, would we look at that as it's possible to create something like that? Or is it more likely that it's just something borrowed, right? Like maybe not even from this universe, but from another, like a parallel, right? So did we take something from someone else or from somewhere else?
Like another
Huh.
realm.
Yeah,
okay. So we didn't create something out of thin air. It was
we did.
transferred from somewhere else.
Transported over.
Right, but I'm saying, yeah, could it be something like that? Because now there's another theory that says that a scientist has decided that our universe is not the first universe, that there was one before and it died and this one was born. Meaning that there's a more constant. So that is mind-blowing too, because that has to be energy that deceased and then we've brought it back. So I mean, is that a thing? I mean, can energy itself actually die and then we just brought some energy back?
I liked your quote, like Debbie Reynolds in a movie she did, which was just Halloween Town, if many people liked it or knew it. But she says magic is just wanting something and letting yourself have it. And if you look at magic, manifestation, prayer, anything, it's all about allowing yourself to have it, which to me is just making it out of thin air. And isn't that what we normally do anyway? Like, it's just a matter
That's
of, do you
true.
want it? We allow yourself to have it. We give up all your dogmas to, that you believe for so many years to think you can open up the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
And that's makes you wonder, like, from like from a psychic medium, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have access to other parts of your spirituality that others don't. So that's energy, right? So does that mean like I have that same energy just like in a freezer somewhere, or is it I just haven't been able to create that something out of nothing yet?
Honestly, I think it's everybody's got psychic energy. Everybody's got it, but it's a matter of do you use it? It's there. Do you use it?
It's like toilet paper.
Yeah. If it's there, are you using it, or you're just gonna kind of throw your finger someplace?
Yeah.
It's just, but everybody gets it. Their psychic senses, so why not? It's just some people are more prone to say, "Hey, let's practice this." I keep telling people I showed up in line with ask God for a mouth, and he said, "Oh shit!" So he gave me people to talk to. So,
do you think that's something that you pick up on, like life after life? Like it's something that, and do you think that being the case, do you think that as the lives progress, do you think that you get better
yes,
or worse?
Better. I think every lifetime, clearly I've not gone into every past life. I regressed into quite a few lifetimes because I had to get over my fear of snakes. And I kept landing in different lifetimes with a really good hypnotherapist. And I had lifetimes where I spent in the woods talking to a fire. Like, he's like, "What are you doing?" "Talk to the fire." "Why?" "Because it's teaching me." And I'm listening to this recording and I am just as honest can be. Like, the fire is teaching me, and all these different lifetimes, it was learning skills. And one lifetime I'm more Wiccan. Next time I'm got, more of a mind over matter type of power. Next one, I'm a healer. And it's just all these amazing lifetimes that kind of bring it into this one. It really kind of messes with your identity, I think. When you know about them, you're like, whoa, well, why am I so sucky in this lifetime? That one looked really good, but
yeah,
I think if the skill needed to be there because it's in here someplace.
Do you think, like, if you with the whole past life thing, do you think when you pass and you go to select your next life cycle, do you think that you pick based on your own comfortability, like what you're used to, like location,
No,
people?
no, not even
Like,
close.
hey, Joe is my best friend, I'm gonna follow Joe.
No, Joe would stay on the other side and wait for you.
Right.
This is what I teach to people, because so many people come in and say, "Oh my God, this is my last lifetime. I'm not doing this anymore. This sucks," And then I tell them, you die, and that, that amnesia you've been in is totally wiped away. And you're like, "Oh my gosh, I wish I would have remembered this. I'd have done this. I'd have done this," and you can't wait to get back in that line to come back again. But people don't realize the soul knows love. It knows unconditional love. That's its MO. For it to understand other things, it's got to get into a body. It wants to experience these things, so it essentially sets up an appointment to go back. And I always say they put out a war map, and it may not be a war map of all these destiny things, these things that are definitely going to happen. But you're going to have a lot of stuff in between that you get to, kind of, find your own way to someplace. But think about going into a room that's got like everything all over the walls. And you get to go in there and pick like 30 things that you want to do. And none of it has to make sense. There's no plotting. I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. And I think people that really want to experience, like, want to kind of like, I don't want to say like level up the soul or kind of go back higher up, they're going to put in a crazier life. They're just going to add more and see how much they can fill it up to say, "Oh my gosh, what more can I experience in one lifetime?" To go back with a bigger understanding.
Yeah.
That's my belief. I mean, everybody else has got their own. That's okay. But
Yeah, I've heard that, and then I've heard people complain. Not, I don't know if complain's the right word about reincarnation. They're like, "Oh God, please no! I don't want to I can't do this. I can't be in this meat suit anymore. Being human is just too hard. Please, God, no." You know, and then
think about going to Great America. We all say it, and what do? We get back in the same darn line all over again.
Right, exactly.
One.
Yeah.
Eventually, go to Mars. It's got like purple penguins and tutus or something, you know, because it's a ride.
Well, I've always one of my own curiosities and rabbit holes, I guess, is you know, if you were to go back to, you know, the ancient Egyptian, you know, 4000 BC, maybe there was a billion people, maybe at most, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have 8 billion people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we are eternal, what was happening to the other 7 billion? Were they just stuck waiting in line? Right? So,
or too afraid to come.
In limbo.
But from where? Right?
Or not want to do it quite yet.
And on top of that, does that mean that maybe we do have life cycles as a spirit? You know, maybe just in a different form or version, but what if there are people that this is their first go around? This is their first attempt at understanding life. And whereas, you know, Katie, she's on body number 739.
Right.
Oh,
you know,
God help me. God help me.
and if that's the case, does that mean that at some point, whether you know it or not, this could truly actually be your last life?
It could be. You know,
I don't know. I'm just.
I honestly think it could be. I think every lifetime we show up could be our last one. Not because per se a choice, but maybe we've experienced everything there is to experience here, and it's time to stop coming here. And maybe we can do better or more good from the other side. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, and that's part of where I tag on to that. It's where you've grown so much and you're to the spiritual level, you don't have to come back.
Right.
So that's the way I look at it.
Yep.
But you're also assuming that you're going in the right direction. There's a lot of people that make the wrong choices, and sometimes they don't realize that they have.
How do you know it's the wrong choice?
You probably wouldn't know until it's over.
I will tell you what, there is an amazing book out there that I tell everybody to read, and it's very thin. It's called The Afterlife of Billy Fingers. Phenomenal book about this guy who's just, man, from any normal person's quote unquote life, you'd think he was a hot mess, drugs and drinking and womanizing and partying and not paying bills, and his family going, oh my gosh, all the time, you know? So when he ended up dead, nobody in his family was surprised. You know what I mean? Like, and they all, he wasted his life. Except for he came back. He came back to start talking to a sister who is, I don't know, some profession. Doesn't believe in the afterlife. Doesn't believe in anything like this. And they have conversations, and she wrote a book on it. And how much growth his soul got of this life that we deemed was a mess. You know, he went, oh my gosh, what is he doing? And he's like, if you know how much soul growth I got from that, from the experiences. And it wasn't necessarily the partying, it was the downfalls. It was all this, what we look at as poor choices.
Yeah.
So it's easy to kind of point a finger and go, here you go. And I think spiritual growth and mediumship has really taught me to look at somebody else and go, oh, I'm not judging, because I don't know what their soul is here for. I don't know what it's here to experience. I don't understand that portion. So I'm gonna let them do what they got to do. And
that's true. Every life could be just a new, you come in and hoping to check certain boxes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. But there's also that chance that, you know, confusion is real, right? Manipulation is real too. So, you know, people get stuck into, you know, weird cults or religions. I don't know if, you know, eating somebody is on your checklist. You know what I mean? Things like that.
Not today. I'd be a vegetarian first, but you know.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just saying, the likelihood that Dahmer finished and went, all right, that was great.
Yeah.
You know?
But
You know?
again, if you take off of every, and I'm not okay in that. Okay, so don't think I'm okay and blah blah. I'm not.
Right.
But
You just think
nor am I
everybody
going
to
to show
each
up,
their
and he
own.
didn't live that far from me. You know what I mean? I mean, we're
Yeah.
like an hour and 15 down the road. But again, who says what he did was wrong other than man that decided it was wrong?
Yeah.
And I
Society.
mean, and I hate to put it that way, because we have a society rule we live by, and thank God we have one, or we really have some chaos going on.
Yeah.
But when you go to spiritual law, it's a whole different realm.
There's a story about what's called a clear cannibal, which
Mhm.
is a person that eats people, but he does so in a society where it's accepted. He
Mhm.
then goes to a new society where it is no longer accepted, and he's deemed an evil person, but he himself does not see himself as evil.
Exactly.
It's just how he was,
That's
which is
exactly
pretty
it.
interesting to think of that like that way, you know.
It's hard to in our society. It's really hard to see things from a different angle, because we're taught by our parents, our grandparents, our schools, you know, our society, the law, whatever. We're taught all these rules. And do we need rules? We do. But how about we just get it down to be a good person? Don't be a jerk. Like, show up when a friend needs you. And I pretty much throw them out, because I think at that point we'd be getting rid of a lot of the bad things that do happen.
Right.
It makes you wonder, like, if the person who like invented AC, like
Oh, he was
burned to
brilliant.
death or something,
Yes,
and
he
he was
was
like,
brilliant.
this is never going to happen to me again. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, so I guess sometimes what you go through, your trials, your tribulations can potentially impact what you do in future lifetimes.
Oh, 110%.
Yeah.
It's so simple. Now, this is like on a much more
Poe is
simple
probably a
note.
ladies' man now.
Who knows?
Yeah.
This is a simpler note. And it's so funny, because remember when I said I had to go through hypnotherapy to get over my fear of snakes? My granddaughter wants snakes. She loves reptiles. And I had a fear. I couldn't even look at a picture of a snake, and I'd run. Like, you'd show me a picture and I'd be gone. I was so fearful of them. And my major fear it started earlier in life, but the horrible one started after my son hit about 5 years old. And I'd have this nightmare that I was hearing all this noise in his bedroom. I'd go and open up the door, and there's this huge anaconda eating him. And all he's got left is his legs. And I'm slamming the door, trying to keep the snake out of there. You know, like, I'm terrified. And this is a recurring dream for a lot of years. And then my granddaughter decides to want snakes. I'm like, oh, I need to get over this fear. And for 2 years, I went to find a hypnotherapist that would work. Okay. And I went through a bunch. None of them worked. Finally ran into this one gentleman. And he goes, well, let's go find out where these are. And the first life he took me to was a jungle. And here's my son, that he was my son in that lifetime too.
Oh, wow.
I lost him. And that's what I ran into, was literally his feet hanging out of the snake's mouth. It's like, oh, that fear's gone. But I still had, when I came out, I still had this irrational fear. He's like, well, let's go find out, So, another session was scheduled, and I'm not I'm not Cleopatra, so don't think anything like that. But I actually committed suicide by asp bite, by getting bit by an asp. And when I
thought you meant like a donkey.
No, like an asp.
Okay.
Well, in that
gotcha.
lifetime, he went, well, how's that triggering in this one? And it took me back to my youth when I was a kid, and my dad was sweeping out a gardener snake out of the garage, and there was this little thin snake, same size, striking the broom, which created all of my fears that flooded into this lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like how these two lifetimes really were affecting this lifetime horribly. Now, you see me online, I've got a snake wrapped around my hair. I look like Medusa half the time, I've got them with me all the time. I can't get enough of them. So I want a good hug, and I'm sad. I grab one and wrap it around my neck. I'm crazy. And I go, oh my God, you give the best hugs. And it's constrictor, but I'm safe. Oh, shut up, Jeff. Sorry. That's feed Jeff alarm. That would be the gecko.
Oh, okay. Gecko feeding time.
It's why I fed him earlier, so we're good. So, our past lives definitely affect our present lives all the time, but you can go back and fix those things.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned, Iggy, how your son was the same son. So, I mean, and we talked earlier about, can you decide to follow the same people?
You can.
Like, do you just have that group that you're like, yeah, we're just going to stick together and pal around the universe?
Why not? Why not?
Right?
Why not? Add a few others in once in a while, kick the bad ones out, flip
Right.
around, be the boss of it. You and MaryLynn have been together for like eons, I'm sure.
But who knows?
I feel like we have, yeah, because we connected right away. So did Katie and I.
Well,
Oh, I can believe that.
not everybody lucks out, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
There you go.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, so it's true. You never know, I guess, who you're palling around with, but there's always that possibility that you've done stuff with some people. Like you'll see somebody and you'll look at them, you're like, they look really familiar, and you can't figure out why.
Yep.
Maybe who's to say that we don't even we're not so bougie that we try to pick similar body types each time too. And maybe that's why we wait
a little bit more, Bo Derek next time around if that's a choice.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, I love my hair, but I want it in my eyes, but I want to come back with her body.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I thought you meant Bo Jackson. Bo knows baseball.
Well, if I choose to flip genders, why not?
Yeah, that's pretty cool too. But yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah, I think maybe genders you could also be a preference too. You're like, I like being a dude, or I like being a lady, or sometimes you roll the dice and you're like, man, it didn't get what you wanted. But all that's a toss up, right? You never know.
Who says what planet you ended up on?
That's true. Do you believe in alien life?
Why not? Aren't we aliens?
Right.
It's true.
And you know what? It's quite interesting because about a month ago, I took my granddaughter to this astronomy speaker, which I told her she was going to be vastly bored with, and she was.
Nice! I'm an asparagus.
Well, he's actually up there where he's with NASA or whatever. He actually uses the big telescope, so that's how far up
Yeah, different stars. Yeah,
Astronomy, not astrology.
Right.
And not astrology, astronomy.
All
and
right.
One of the kids posed a question. You ever think we'll live on the moon? And he goes, the funny thing about that is nobody that's been alive in that room has been alive to see a person on the moon. He goes, but I give it 3 to 4 years. And we went, what do you mean? And he goes, the guy that's ahead of NASA now is really pro making that. So he's got people like right now, doing their practice runs to make a flight up. But they're looking at I guess at 5 to 10 years to actually colonizing the moon. And I thought, wow, we will be the aliens, won't we?
Yeah, I've always been very pro moon. I'm not allowed back into certain tanning salons because of that, but I do think it's possible. We always look at something like the moon and Mars, for example, in a form of, our bodies can only take so much before. But the reality is we as spiritual beings are so awesome at adapting and creating and finding solutions that I really just think these are just minor problems to get us there, honestly. I'm very excited for something like that. Since I was 12, that's all I've thought about was how to actually space travel to see what we want to see, to have those experiences in these bodies while we can, because it's just incredible. Because there's no way. I mean, just the odds are so infinitesimal that we're alone. Because there's quadrillions upon quadrillions of planets, not just stars, but of planets. You know what I mean? So there's got to be something out there. Who knows? Maybe our next life we come back as the wrinkly naked snake in Varnek 9. We don't know.
Yeah.
I would take it. Why not?
Isn't that what some of the information that was recently released that
The
the
wrinkly
alien,
nakey snake?
yes, that.
Well, if that gets released here, you're going to jail.
Now that there's already aliens living among us, was that I didn't watch. I wasn't paying attention to all this information that came out recently about all the aliens or whatever that was declassified or something. And the aliens are already living among us, and they're doing like alien human breeding or some crazy.
Oh man, I'm glad you brought that up. I actually found this really awesome, just mini article. I didn't pick up the whole article because I just figured it'd be better to talk about it. Let me find it really quick. I just have to find a picture of the aliens. Yeah, that's how. Oh, here it is. Okay, so there are two aliens, P-47 and P-52. Those are their technical labels. They've claimed themselves to actually be, even though they look like aliens, that they are human beings just in a different dimension. They're both come from completely different dimensions, but they both claim they're human. They just happen to be in the wrong dimension now.
So how do they know that?
What's that?
How do they know they're in the wrong dimension?
Let's see. They say they usually describe. They're described as more. They are more advanced, and they're linked to higher dimensions or further along timelines beyond our current understanding.
Okay.
So that would mean, in a way, time travel, but not really, because they're just really hopping dimensions.
Hopping dimensions, yeah.
Right.
And,
So
time is just relative to those that witness it. So their version of time can be completely different than ours. Same thing with Sasquatch or fairies or.
Right.
So do they say how they did that time or the transfer?
Does it sound like I have a standing appointment with these people? No, I have no idea.
The article is right there.
I told you it's a very brief article.
So you may have a connection.
Let's see here.
I mean, some people would say mediumship is a way of talking to another dimension.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they even talk or how they've even managed to garner what information they have, but that's basically it. And then it goes down what up, Rick? Wait! It goes down some theory rabbit holes of other people trying to decide and decipher. But it made me think, because if there is such a thing, hey Ash, if there is such a thing, I probably am or was. Maybe there is such a thing as these multi-dimensional abilities to travel, because we talk about Sasquatch and how it's quite possible nobody can find them because they're not actually on this plane, right? We always talk about being behind the veil is the afterlife. Well, what about on the other side?
That's right? Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, I agree. I agree with you 110%.
I just want to make sure that we're using that, not using that as an excuse, right? We've been Sasquatch hunting forever. Don't have a body, don't really even have any turds, for lack of a better word. Nothing. Maybe some footprints, right? And so
I just want to see one Bigfoot trailer trash mom, with the pregnancy, and she's got the cig, and she's got her hair up, and just one. Got
just one?
Yeah. Okay. A Mickey's in her hand, something like that, but nothing.
No, nope. Not even white trailer trash Sasquatch. Sorry, Mike.
But I mean, it's possible that maybe they only are here to feed, to defecate, or they're just here to procreate, and then they have the babies in their own timeline, their own veil, their own parallel. And then who's to say that something doesn't come in on their side, right?
Right.
Maybe they have their own version of what they consider a Bigfoot. You know what I mean? A Piggly Wiggly shows up in their town, and they're like, "Oh my God, I swear I saw a Piggly Wiggly," and they're like, "No, you didn't. That's not real." I don't know.
Yeah, we've talked about that on past podcasts where we're like, all right, so Sasquatch comes here and they use up Earth's resources. They eat our food, they drink our drink, they take a dump, and then they move on. So they treat Earth like a resource and an ashtray.
Right.
Restaurant.
If they're
Yeah.
pooping, then we should be able to find it, unless it's different than what our type of poop is.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe that's where rainbows come from. We don't know.
Maybe.
The gold.
Yeah.
We
We
don't
had
know.
someone on the podcast a couple weeks ago. I think she was a psychic medium, and she was saying that she communicates, or she
Christina
communicated.
Blue.
Yes, Christina Blue. My apologies, Christina. She claims that she communicates on a somewhat regular basis with a male and a female Sasquatch, right?
Yes.
And so I found that interesting because I'd never really heard that before, or even thought that could be possible. But I think she said that she channels.
Yeah.
Not that she's meeting them in person, although maybe she is. But I think she kind of indicated that she is channeling.
Hey,
Right.
That's a great question. Which one would you rather? Would you rather like have a Bigfoot encounter or be abducted by an alien?
Oh,
Mm.
I take Bigfoot all day long.
Bigfoot?
Oh God, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay,
Why not?
okay. Just
There's a really
break
good. There's a really good 2-movie series. It's a Flash of Beauty, Paranormal Bigfoot.
Yes.
It was made out of Oregon. I can't think of her. She's gonna shoot me. I can't think of her name. She was one of my students. She's amazing. She's one of my certified students. My brain just actually did it. Created the movie together. And how she explained to me is she got accepted into the Klan. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she said that Bigfoot was very much on a different dimensional level, I guess is the best way to explain it. And that they kind of phase in and phase out, and it was really amazing. She was like, when she started the documentary and the searching for the truth, she thought this was a joke, this was whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she said they couldn't wait to jump on the second documentary because of how much she learned and grew from it, and I thought that's really incredible. So I think
there is a great movie that everybody can watch.
What's that?
Yeah.
There's a great movie that everybody can watch. It came out in 2018 and it stars Sam Elliott. And it's called The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot. It's hilarious.
There you go.
Fantastic.
That's not a real thing.
I swear to God it is. And it will blow your mind at how cheesy it is, but it's fantastic.
Okay.
But I think meeting Bigfoot would, the chance encounter of a Bigfoot, and then like, I guess what you could learn, like assuming that they're willing to actually like interact with you in that capacity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus like, something else like kill you or diddle
don't
you
think
or
they
whatever.
wanna
I don't.
No, they don't.
No, why would they? Right?
Yeah.
No.
So,
Her
Katie,
name is
what would you
Jill
pick?
Lemonshire, by the way. She told me because when I lived up in Hayward, at a very large pasture, all electrical fence, and I had way up, 5 foot tall, because my horses, and I live in Bair, bear country. So I put this electrical fence up for, to keep bears and everything else out. And I'll never forget, I was sitting there inside the pasture doing something, can't remember what it was, but I was sitting there basically. And I heard Bigfoot type noises, and I'm thinking, is it a bear? What is this? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, my fence didn't go off. Nothing's gone off. What is this? And then the noise was gone. And I went and checked my fence. It was still on. I checked the whole line. It wasn't down anywhere. A bear is not able to jump my fence, and they weren't like horses behind me. And it sounded like something really big walking through the the wild ferns through the woods on me. She tells me,
That's awesome.
She's like, that's a Bigfoot. And I'm like, really? She goes, that's a Bigfoot. She goes, and it's that simple, but people don't pay attention.
Right.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take that.
So your belief, Bear, is that they're not as elusive as we think, that we're just not paying attention.
I don't think we're paying I think we're trying to pay attention to the wrong things.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what? We're looking for footprints. We're looking for our evidence, you know,
Right.
and we're never going to find our evidence. We're not going to find fecal matter and all this other stuff. So it's like, why don't you look someplace else? We know
It
they're
would be
there.
great if it was sperm, because that's like in every NCIS.
You know, I'll tell
You
you
know?
what. Tell you what.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty hairy
dead
baby.
giveaway.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're looking for the wrong evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
So then let me throw a question out there to all of you. When we think of aliens, we think, you know, they're in the flying saucers, and we always see that they have this higher technology and they're connected more to consciousness, and they're just evolution wise, you know, leaps and bounds among, you know, above us humans. Right. But then when we think about Sasquatch, you know, we think that he's earthbound, that he's of the earth, you know, that he's of nature, that he is sourcing his food, his water, and his livelihood from the earth, but yet he can teleport and come back and forth between dimensions. So I just find that very interesting, how when you think of Sasquatch, you just think that he's just this woodland creature, you know, of the earth, but yet he can like teleport.
What if
You
he's
know,
not
I don't
teleporting?
know.
He's just able to find like where, you know, it's like rising tide,
The
you know, it
portal.
ebbs and flows. What if their veil ebbs and flows, right? And they just can
Right.
sense the right areas, and that they know where to pass through and where to go back.
Yeah, I just find it interesting that when you think of Sasquatch, you don't think of him doing that. You just think that he's this earthbound creature that is mining the earth for the resources that he needs to survive, and not necessarily, you know, finding different dimensions and stepping through portals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus the aliens, we always think of them as this
What if
higher
he just comes here
dimension.
to steal like all of our armadillos?
You know, I think that might be it. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the megalodon.
Oh,
They know
always.
that was there, and they know it starved itself to death. I don't think a Bigfoot's coming here to resource itself. It would have ate us out of house and home by now.
Yeah,
Right?
true.
That's true.
Well,
True.
and you know, we were talking about it pooping and stuff like that. What if it uses waterways like we use toilets? They could be using the rivers or whatever. They do their business and it's all washed away, so we'll never find it.
Exactly.
True. Right.
I
Right.
just imagine you come into that encounter where they are like trying to relieve themselves, and they see you see them. That's quite a hairy situation.
It
Right.
would be.
I mean, who's to
Right.
say they're not just calling it a personal day and they're coming here to hang out because, oh my God, life has just gotten too bad on the other side and they don't want to, you know, brush their hair today.
Yeah.
You know, they're showing up for that personal day. You know?
Yeah. What if
Right.
like the Bigfoot you see
Right.
is like really like he's like a farmer's insurance agent?
Yeah.
Only for like big feet.
Why
You
not?
know? We
These
don't know, right?
outfits only go to a size 15 anywhere, unless it's
Right.
special.
Right.
And what if we're like, what the
Yeah.
fuck was that? And then he goes back to his dimension. He goes, what the fuck was that? You know?
I
Oh,
think they
absolutely.
stick around
That's how.
if we knew how to braid. So
No.
What's that?
I
Mhm.
think they'd stick around if we all knew how to braid better.
That's true. No, that's true. That's true. Me personally, I would rather have the alien abduction. Again, I am over 40, so it's kind of like a free prostate exam, which I'm all about. That sounds great. Anything I don't have to pay for, that sounds great right now. So,
Mm.
and we don't know. Maybe they have like a cafeteria up there. That would be great too. You know,
Go get your snacks and maybe you can taste it then.
Yeah.
maybe I can taste
Yeah.
alien food. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe you were
Hey.
abducted.
Yeah. Ooh, sniggle worms. These are great. You know? We don't know, you know? So, okay, as a psychic and a medium,
Mhm.
does being a psychic weigh heavier, or does being a medium cause more of an impact? Like when you meet somebody for the first time, what becomes more relevant to you about that person?
Neither.
Really? Okay. Is that because you do that
It's my
intentionally?
choice. It is my choice. I mean, do I have a fight or flight meter? Yes. You know what I
Okay.
mean? That's a natural. I think everybody's got it. But I think it's very intrusive to walk around very open all the time. It's kind of like the FBI, you know, it's just creepy. and I tell everybody, shut off. I like to go to Walmart. That's my playland. If I'm open, I can't walk into Walmart. So I keep as much shut off as I can. That's why I can tell you I'm the least paranormal person, because I'll walk into any haunted place and go, it's not haunted, until you tell me, start reading the building, and here we go. Now I'm going to have an on switch and follow me as fast as you can. But for the most part, no. Outside of that, the natural fight or flight, the natural psychic instincts that everybody has, I don't turn them on. I prefer to not know. I want to get to know you on your level.
Can you only turn on like just the psychic or just the medium, or do both have to come on at the same time? Or
no, but I think the better you are, the more apt you're able to do them both at the same time.
Yeah, okay.
Because I will tell you, the best reading in the world is talking to somebody over here that's dead and talking to their client on a psychic level to know how, because you got to know what's coming in here and then how to present it here.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
if
sure.
you're coming in here and I'm hearing somebody that's cussing, and I got a nun in disguise and I'm cussing up a storm, and she's going and not showing, I gotta be able to feel, I can't present it that way, or or how I'm gonna give this information to her. So you have to be able to read both at the same time. And I think that just takes time.
Your own translation, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
110% your own translation. So, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Katie, you do the tarot, right?
What's that?
Katie does tarot.
Yes.
I've tried my hand at Uno. It didn't work very well.
Very similar.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
Yeah.
It wasn't. But so you do tarot, and then astrology is another big player, right? We discovered that astrology has been around since like 2000 BC, right? Even before they actually knew what a star was, So that's pretty awesome to know that astrology has been around that long. So I would assume that psychic and medium is also probably coexisted
forever,
right? Yeah.
Forever.
I mean, you look at a lot of like the kings and queens, they always say how they have like that spiritual advisor.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably something that falls along those lines, right?
Yeah. I was talking the other day about when I was doing I do this thing called Tarot Tuesdays, and I don't know why this came out of my mouth.
Better than TTs.
TTs, yeah.
Tarot Tuesdays,
yeah. That could be misinterpreted.
Very much so.
Yeah. And I was talking about, and I don't even know how I started talking. I don't know why it just came out of my mouth, but I started talking about the Oracle of Delphi, which is, and if you're familiar with ancient Greece at all, there was an oracle in Delphi, which is a very ancient place in Greece. And there was this woman, and it was back in like BC, ancient Greece. And you would go to this place called Delphi, and she had her own temple, and you would walk in, and it was all, I think a lot of people have debunked it, but you would go in, and there was a lot of smoke that swirled around her, and she really created this experience for you. You would sit down and you would speak with her, and she considered herself an oracle, but today in modern times, we would consider her to be a psychic medium, and she would read you, and it was so interesting.
That's cool.
And there was this theory that because of where she was located, all the smoke was because she was on top of a sulfur spring. And so all of the, sulfur and the gas would come up, and people were having this experience when they went to see her. They were getting high, basically, when they went to see her from the gas. And it just led to this whole experience. And a lot of historians have since debunked it. But a lot of people think that it's true, because she was world famous, the Oracle of Delphi. So
well, I mean, even if you are getting high from it, it's just another pathway, right? Just another tool, yeah.
Right.
It's just a matter of who you're talking to that knows how to use it, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
I mean, she's in the same room, and I mean, I would assume she's not super high to, not talk to you, I guess, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I guess that was part of the experience, and maybe she was high with you,
After like an hour, you're just like, I'm tripping balls, man.
Right. Right. Yeah. So as psychic mediums, do you ladies, do you ever encounter somebody that you just, for whatever reason, can't read for? have you ever sat down next to somebody and you're like, oh gosh, I don't think I can do this for whatever reason, and you've just kindly just been like, look, I'm sorry, I can't, or do you push through as best as you can?
I've had one to where when they sat down is because I saw some of the things that they had done, and I just flat out told them, I can't do a reading for you. They had killed somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh goodness.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I haven't had anybody where not like that. I don't know how I'd respond. But as long as I don't get in my head, there's not going to be a blockage. If that makes sense. I think the only time a psychic medium doesn't get information is if we stop the information or just say, nope, we're not doing it. You know,
yeah,
but
like if they're trying to stop you, like they're trying to be obstinate, you know?
Yeah, you get that all the time. Well, I can't take that. And you're going, okay. How many 5 different ways can I rephrase this for you to understand what I'm trying to say? You know,
Right.
And you say it all, and they're like, you're not getting me, not getting me. And you're like, okay, let's stop for a minute. Let me jump into the reading. Can you take this piece of information? Yes. When I said this, could you take it? Yes. And this, yes. Part that I said, do you not understand? You know what I mean? So a lot of times it's a matter of, sometimes I think we go too fast, or I think they have psychic amnesia, or they're not willing to accept possibly the information that's coming through.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's never you necessarily, like you said, because you're always receiving information. It's them that's blocking their own damn reading.
We can block ourselves though. You know, I mean, we get in our heads, you know. I've had those readings where I've walked up like, MaryLynn, the first time when I looked at one of your pictures, I will tell you what, and you said, what do you get? And I'm like, okay, just gonna take this one. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I was terrified, and I had a choice. Do I get in my own darn way, or do I just spit it out and look stupid if I'm wrong? I'm just going to spit it out. You know, I have my choice. I can block the information, or she can look at me and go, I have no clue what you're talking about, you know? And we get in our own way. Every time if it doesn't come through, it's because we didn't, you know, spirit's never going to be wrong. Energy's never going to be wrong. We will be wrong. You know,
well,
but
that's how you interpret it. Is like, you know, it's like you may see something and I may see the same thing, but interpret it differently. So you're going to say it one way and I'll say it another. What I say may resonate with one person, but not the other. What you say, and so on. So that's
just because it looks like a baby Ruth doesn't mean it is one.
That is true.
I'll tell you what, I've said stuff and they've went, nope, that's not right. And I went, yeah, it is. And they look at me like, no, it's not. Like, oh yeah, it is, because they're telling me I'm right. But how do I describe this in a way they're going to get it? And they'll give me a whole random weird scenario, and I give it to them. They're like, oh my God, that makes sense. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like, here you go.
Yeah.
You know, and that's help. That's the other side coming through to say, hey, let's help get this through.
Right.
Yeah, and I think there are those people that are just naturally defiant to it. I think a lot of it is to a fear of being proven wrong, right?
Yep.
No one likes to be wrong, right? And I think if somebody's able to read you, that's not you, you feel like you are being wronged. Yeah, violated in a way. So they'll do their best to make you feel wrong instead, right?
Yep.
Those people do exist. So I think that's just because those. Not everybody's like Cleo, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Not everybody's a 1-900 number that's not real. They are real.
That's okay. Because, you know, just because if I need heart surgery, may not pick the first doctor. I might go 3 or 4 before I decide I find the one I like.
Right.
And that's okay. It's okay.
It's who you resonate with and who you connect with.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, do either of you do? I'm sorry. What?
Nope. Continue.
Yeah. I was going to ask if either of the ladies do past life. Someone in the chat was asking about past lives. Do either of you do past life regressions?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I know MaryLynn's done a few.
Yes, I have.
DeEtte, have you ever done those?
Past life regression.
Yeah.
I've done past life regression on myself. I'm actually doing a talk this summer how to teach people how to do it for themselves. And I've done a lot of past life readings.
Yeah. Okay. There you go, Ryan. Ryan's a friend of mine. And he was asking about
also asking though is if it's more tarot or more of a psychic medium thing. I never tried to do past life with tarot, but that would be an interesting take on it.
Yeah,
there's a whole past life tarot deck or oracle deck out there, and I looked at it and kind of giggled. If you really want to know, but
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I do tarot. I'm self-taught. I've been doing tarot for 4 or 5 years. And I'm an intuitive reader. I don't just read the cards, but I read energy.
I love that.
And partnered with the cards.
Yes.
So sometimes past lives can come up, but by no means am I a past life regression, therapist or whatever. So I happen to agree with you, Bear. It feels weird to call you Bear. Sorry.
You can call me whatever you want, darling.
But yeah, Ryan, I would say you need to get a past life regression from one of these ladies. Would be my suggestion.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Well, with that, we've reached our hour, folks. It's gone by fast.
The heck?
Isn't that crazy?
Where can everybody find you?
Oh my gosh, Bair on Facebook, and it is BearBair. It's actually a picture of me now. I do believe Bair, the actual dog, is actually in the top big picture yet. He'll probably stay there forever. Or you can go to DeEtteRanae.com, which is my website. It is mine. When you type that name, it comes up sheepskin square. It's mine. I finally got my domain crossed over, but I'm not intelligent. So to get it to see, death be the website. I'll tell you. I talk to dead people, not internet.
That's fair.
So I am doing my best to get that to sit and seat and show up that way, but you can still type it. It still gets you to. I'm not a hoax. Or you can come and find me this Saturday because it was one of my idols this Saturday, and I'm super excited about it. So there's that.
Okay.
I get to work with Chris Lemon this weekend. I'm so excited.
Where's that going to be?
Huh?
Where's that going to be?
It is in St. Charles, Illinois at Aquascape.
Okay.
I'm doing the gallery. Chris is doing a workshop, and then we're doing a Q&A together. So I'm super excited for that. I manifest.
And then we'll get to see you in June.
You do. I'm so excited for that. Sorry.
Yes. So please come to the Beard Brawl. Oh yeah.
Tell all the people that are going to be there. We're having cake and ice cream for a little girl.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's all getting arranged behind the scenes, and she picked out a Harry Potter birthday cake.
Oh, nice.
I know. That's why I was like, MaryLynn, you're going to be there.
No,
I know.
It's a bunch that's getting arranged behind the scenes. It's just everybody singing her happy birthday and cake and ice cream because it's her golden birthday this year. So, I mean, her birthday is next Tuesday, but y'all are going to come together.
What's the golden birthday?
She turns 9 on the 9th of June.
Oh, 9 on the 9th.
Oh,
Golden birthday. But the pair of people will be gone on the 9th. So I got a hold of Bill from Broadhead Manor. He said, "Oh, we're so doing this." So I'm bringing the cake. He's bringing all the ice cream, and the people are going to be there. And these are all the people just, there's para family, and I can't imagine another family to be involved with because they've surrounded me and they've held me, and my granddaughter it's amazing. It's amazing what they've done. So, yeah,
that is so awesome. But wait, the granddaughter, is that the one that did the
tattoo?
The ghost? Yes.
No,
I didn't get to meet her, and I didn't know it was your granddaughter.
You didn't meet her because that was at Booze on the Battleship.
Oh no, my granddaughter's temporary tattoos.
Yeah, it wasn't. Oh, okay, that wasn't the lady at Cajun Country.
No.
Oh, okay, so I haven't met her yet. Okay.
You haven't met her yet. You're going to get to meet her
then.
in a couple of weeks. So super excited for that. I really am.
So let me play the outro. I think it's here. If not, then I may have to go and get it. I think I'm going to have to go get it because it's not there.
I thought I saw it there.
It says outro, but it's not there.
Oh, damn. Stick around, Bear.
I'm not going to go anywhere. Are you kidding me?
Well,
Okay.
what I can tell you all is Pair with the Normal Season 2 is officially wrapped. We've finished all of our episodes. They are currently being edited and then will be released shortly. So we're very excited for that. We have some other new incredible projects that we're working on as well. A lot of great things in the books. We got to meet some incredible people recently, and you'll get to see some of their show, with Jack Osborne. He's got a show coming out soon, and Miss Serena, who's just phenomenal, great people. So we hope everybody gets a chance to witness all of their cool stuff, either on Beacon, streambeacontv.com or sparktv.ai. And then you can watch Pair with the Normal right now completely for free on Tubi. So if you have Tubi, go to it, watch it, love it, because we love you.
I think I got it.
Hey.
Thanks for watching. I don't see